Good evening, everybody. Okay. Posted all the. What the? Yeah, could you imagine if there was a slight delay? Okay. So just still listen to music night. Browse through the server life Reddit or any other work related stuff. Or the who's verified on club. Comment your all's meeting. Anyways. And then if anybody comes around at work, I swear autocorrect. Not only has it just less effective, I only see less purpose. Purposely, like, work against you as you're typing things. So weird. You are you driving, Tom, yet? This one I thought was interesting. Coming up in the next few weeks. It's pretty common that they will be like this regarding holidays, especially Mother's Day, because it is the biggest one. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So regardless of your availability is the title. This is it's a memo that went out to employees at a restaurant. It said, as you may or may not know, work at a restaurant, you know, Mother's Day, the busiest day of the year, is almost upon us. This means that everyone will be scheduled regardless of availability. If Sunday is not in your normal availability, we ask that you let your AOR, or area of responsibility manager, know whether you would prefer to work lunch or dinner that day. Thank you all. That was all it said. Yeah, and it's such a way to be an asshole. If Sunday is not in your normal availability, just let us know if you want to work lunch or dinner. Like, I do get the concept. Obviously, I've been in this business for almost a decade now. I do get the concept that, like, yeah, all hands on deck, blah, 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 blah. But these people that are on salary that do this stuff, there are so many people who are going to want those hours, who are going to, like, you will overschedule a lot of times on these days, and you'll have people that, like, have nothing to do, and then you afterwards you have a lot of people complaining about how they didn't make money and they felt like they were there. But I mean, every restaurant is going to be different in how this gets. But when people put something in their availability, most of the time, it's not just because they just don't feel like it. There's definitely cases of that, but there's a lot of people who have school, they have church, they have family responsibilities, they have so many different reasons why they may have something out of their availability, such as a Sunday. And when you're like, nah, you have to work. Ehad? Yeah. AOR is area. Yeah, so the discussion, they said, do you think managers who handle holidays like this are just doing their job, or do you think it's absolutely ludicrous to expect of your employees? Looking for opinions on this, I feel like if they need people they don't currently have available for those days, it's their issue. Not forcing people, moms and dads, to rearrange their lives and childcare, because basically, F you, I can. Scheduling outside of availability in general is a no-no, so why does a big day make it slide? Oh, all hands on deck. Yeah. TLDR, am I wrong for feeling backed into a corner every holiday I receive this message? This is a shitty thing to do, right? ETA. I've been in the industry for 10 plus years. I know temps are rare, But our staff is consistently lacking. This is the first job I've had. Just disregard people like this. I'm also not saying all moms should just get this day off. Just looking for an overall opinion on how. I don't even care if you're a mom. If it's outside your availability, it's outside your availability. I don't care if you're a mom, dad, single, whatever you are. I've never worked at a restaurant that didn't have blackout dates for requesting off certain holidays. Doesn't necessarily mean you are going to work, but don't just assume you're going to have off simply because you don't work every. No, but you should. If you don't work every Sunday, you don't work every Sunday. That should have a staff that does, and do you have other people that are available all the time? There's this problem that will come up, and again, I've seen it the entire time I've been in serving. There's this problem that will come up where you will have members of your staff who are crying, whining, bitching about not getting enough hours, how they need more shifts, blah blah blah. And then when the time comes for them to get those shifts, they suddenly disappear. Like, I can't tell you how many times at just the current place I've worked for a couple of years with this primary staff we have, I will consistently hear, oh my god, I need money, oh my god, I need more shifts, oh my god, they didn't schedule me for this. And it's like, those are the people, go get those people. They want the time. You got people that have those things scheduled off, then leave them alone. This isn't even a restaurant thing. This is called a shim, by the way. I get he's calling it a wobble wedge. But it's funny. I mean, it is a restaurant thing. These are called shims. Little angular, little plastic piece. You just stuff up under the leg of a table, and it's supposed to fix when there's like a little bit of a gap or something. How much is too much? I like this playlist. Upbeat, chill music for the office. Copyright free. Spot perfectly. Not like aggressive. It's not too chilled out. All right, so it seems like a bit of a story. I don't really know. Okay. This one, it says refused service for the first time in 13 years. They refused someone, sir. So we close at 10 as posted on our website. Last call to order is 9:30 though. God, every restaurant. Anyways. This has upset people in the past, and I realize the discrepancy should maybe be corrected, but I am not the owner or one to tell him how to run things. So the problem is when you close at 10, people expect that means you're open until 10. Walk in the door. Setting a 9:30 last call time, that makes sense for like the bar, and maybe it would make sense for like a portion of the menu. Like say you go, you know what, if you come in at 9:45, you can get like appetizer, right? Something like that. You need to like, there comes a point where say it's slow at 9:30, restaurant is slow. You go, all right, there is no reason for us to be standing around just waiting to order more food. Start closing stuff down. That primarily is your kitchen. You want them to be able to get a head start on shutting everything down, because then when you do officially close, everybody gets to walk out of there at a decent time. get it done and get off the clock. So I understand the concept here. The problem is you're still open. So people are still going to walk in the door at 9:50 and service. So the cutoff time for alcohol, that's easy. That's super easy. Like, yeah, you're here, you can come in, but we're not serving alcohol, and we're shutting down the bar. Okay. If you want to have a last call order time, make it so it's like a partial thing. Like have like the major part of your kitchen, that does like entrees and stuff. Maybe have that like offline at night. Appetizers, or that would make more sense. Of course, most restaurants are not very flexible in their thinking and how they like set things. They continuously have like flex for a lot of situations. This would be a thing like that. A flex menu makes sense. I really should just open a restaurant, but I also having worked in the restaurant, have zero desire to do that. Anyways, we went around announcing last call, turned off the open sign. 9:45 rolls around and in struts Karen. Oh, the other note on this is people that are the last call to order time, like people that are already in the building, they're already in the building. Like, you're not kicking them out at 10 anyway. In struts Karen. I really tried to give her a chance, but no. Karen, I have food in my hand that I'm taking to a table, but I'm the shift lead and none of the newbies want to tell someone no. So I stopped with the food in my hand. Hey guys, I'm really sorry, but our last call to place an order is 9:30. Sad face. That's great. But you're open until 11. Attitude rising. Oh, sorry. No, could you show me where it says that? All you have to do is Google yourselves. I did. We aren't. One moment. Gestures to food in my hand and walks away to deliver it. While she tells me loudly she will be writing a bad review. I hate when people think they can. Like, anyways. Hey, let me talk to management, who is right around the corner, and what I can do. Sometimes he will make an exception to last call for polite people, even at 9:45. Well, then, polite. Hey, boss, this lady is really upset. She thought we closed at 11. Boss asks me where it says that. I already asked her, and she told me, repeating her exact tone, all we had to do was Google it. Boss ain't having it. I returned to the couple. Hey guys, my boss wants to know where you saw that so we can correct. And then they cut her off and say, oh no, I heard you mocking me. You do got to be careful with that, because like if it's quiet in a restaurant, especially if you're like closer to close and it's not very busy or whatever, voices carry a lot more than people think. I'm sorry, but you did tell me to goog, and they cut her off again. No, I'm not talking to you anymore. Get me one of those macaroons, this mango one. I will not be serving you. See if someone else will. And I just sauntered off to the back because no, you're not going to cut off my apology to demand something. I'm not a robot. I don't determine last call, and I even tried to ask management if we could take her. According to my coworkers, one of them got her macaroons while she told the other I was a bitch with a smoker's cough, who just walked away. She demanded my name and told other coworker we will be put on TikTok. Oh no. So I'm just getting the jump on what actually happened by documenting it here. Oh no, her 5 friends on TikTok are gonna see a curated, one-sided exchange. Whatever shall your place of work do? Fortunately, I'm that person well above and beyond to make we're happy, but at the same time, if you have a last call and that whole setup, then not much you can. making sure my little club thing. So on my club, I have around my profile picture, live on Kick. It's supposed to have like the little red highlight thing live. It doesn't. I think because when I signed up for Club, I didn't sign up using my Kick account made by Kick. I think because I didn't sign up that way, I'm live on it. However, that's really cool. On your Kick channel, you can go to share when you're live, and you can copy the embed and paste the embed into a post on Club. Paste it in there, it brings up the player, then you delete the embed code, and you can put whatever you want. If I'm live, you'll see. You can post it, and then you can pin it to your profile, and it automatically, because it's, you know, just to the channel as an embed, it's a player that's embedded that whenever you're live, it's showing a preview there. It's really cool. Kind of upset that I didn't sign up using my Kick profile, Kick login. If I did, I'd have the other little too, but still having that's pretty. It's a cool platform so far. From what I can see, obviously being scoot my chair forward, being something that is created by Kick, it's obviously primarily Kick. I think it's kind of offset here. Primarily Kick content creators that are using it. See, there I am, right there. I'm live. I'm live looking at me live. That's funny. It's primarily like Kick content creators there and stuff. So that's cool. The thing I'm missing, you'll see it on this person here. The thing I'm missing is this. I don't get, oh no, you can barely sort of, but there's a little red circle around your profile. It says live. I don't have that because I think I end up wrong. It would be up here. Live indicate. I don't know if they'll fix that at some point. Are you live? But at least there's this. That's cool. I managed to get like a really neat looking animated banner, and then I made a profile picture for it. It all looks really cool. Like I wish every like social media did this stuff. I was saying this about Discord before. You know, with all the issues with Discord, you know, that aside, Discord really knows how to do profiles. Like they're awesome. You know, you not only do you can have an animated banner, you can have cool little frames to put around your profile picture, and some of them are animated, and they could get a cool like splash animation that goes over your profile. You can customize the color, then you've got all your other features, your links, your blurb, all that stuff. It's really well set up as a profile. I just really wish other services like Twitter and like everywhere was a little bit more proactive on that stuff. Club did a really good job. But yeah, so like what I like with Club is it is a social media, but it has like the built-in ability to like promote your brand, promote your channel, and have the like exclusive content stuff that you can set up for like subscribers and everything. So anyways, somebody here was like commenting on that story. A similar but not at all the same thing okay, happened recently to me that I think is also bullshit. I have been at a new spot since January. Just got my first negative review a week or so ago. Speaking of, my numbers right now at work are excellent. And it's one of the few times they did something correctly regarding my work that actually improved things. I could not. We have a server score that is server attentiveness, and it's our number one. It's like how they judge us is if the guest selected that we were attentive, right? And I could not get out of either the low 70s or the high 60s. It was bad, and it was weird because I do really good service for my guests, take care of them. But part of it too is that the section I was working, it was very hard to get surveys, and so the tendency for most people is when they have something negative to say, they will seek out a way to say something negative, whether it's a survey, a review, whatever it is. They'll find a way to say the negative thing. Most people that are happy, that are good with your service, unless you like specifically push them toward the survey, they think in their mind, I gave you a good tip, I told you did a good job, we chit-chatted, whatever, boom, have a nice day, we'll see you next time. And they're good. They don't seek it out, so you have to like push it more on them. The section I was working in, it was very difficult just because of the pacing. And where I am now, most of the time, it still can be very fast-paced, but it's a different mentality versus the lounge area. So it's a lot easier to get surveys, and I get lots of them. And so I have a higher rate of good surveys. And I've gone all the way up to like 91%. Jump like 30, almost 30 points. And it's been that way for like a month now, where I'm at like 89 to 92%. So it's been pretty nice. Anyways. The section I was working, by the way, like I said, it was the lounge area around the bar. So it's both sat in rotation, which it's not supposed to be, but we do at the location. And it's open seating. They always say the reason why they still seat in rotation, and this is the fault of other lounge servers, not me, because again, I don't care, but whatever, is because if they don't seat it in rotation, then the lounge servers will basically complain that they're not getting enough tables. So we both seat it in rotation, and it's self-seating. So people could just walk in and go seat themselves. And that can be a little ridiculous on a Friday or a Saturday, you know, when it's pretty busy and people are just coming in and they see the lounge and they see open tables and they go, all right, I'm going over there. Meanwhile, every other table, every third table or whatever that comes in is also getting sat over there with no regard. So it gets a little rough, and I think that was part of the problem. Anyways, back to this guy's story. He said, in the posted review, they said I was racist. That pissed me off probably more than anything else they could have said. While I admit I can be an asshole sometimes, it never has anything to do with race, usually just somebody being stupid. I'm already rambling, so the other day a group of like 6 people, all aged 21 to 22, are in my bar. Well, they're a bartender? Okay. One girl asked me for a flavored margarita. I told her we have one flavor of the month margarita. It was March, so it was a Midori marg. Ooh. I like... Oh, so it would be green for St. Pat. That's better than anything we've done for St. Patty's. I like Midori. It's that green flavor liqueur. That would be so much better than what we do. We either don't do a drink for St. Patty's, or like, I think it was last year, we did some kind of stupid... Oh no, this is like 3-4 years ago. At a different location. So yeah, it was a bit ago. The last time we did like a special drink, I remember it being like whiskey. I can't remember the Irish whiskey. But yeah, they did a margarita with the whiskey, and it was like half of them got returned because people were just like, nah. There were a couple dudes who actually liked it. More power to them. I just didn't think it was that great. Midori though, that's good stuff. I like Midori. She didn't want that and proceeded to order a raspberry marg because she saw that we have flavors for our seltzer. I tell her that we don't usually offer that, but sure, I'll make you one. That's weird. That's actually weird. And I don't know if it's... Everywhere does things differently, but like most places I have worked, if you're ordering a margarita and you want basically any of the flavors, it's just a syrup. Like if you don't have like a flavored liqueur... but you just have like syrup flavors, we'll put it in there. We don't care. We'll just charge you the extra $1 or something, you know. So it's weird that we don't usually offer that. Yeah, but you're just doing a margarita and adding cherry or raspberry or whatever. Few 5 minutes later, mind you, I'm busy on a Friday night, and she comes back up and complains. This tastes like cough medicine. Can I get a regular margarita instead? Well, I mean, raspberry flavoring is definitely gonna. Even grenadine, which is pretty common in like Coke and stuff. If you put grenadine stuff, it'll do that. I inform her that sure, I'll make you a regular margarita instead, but I'm still going to charge you for both because you ordered an off-menu item that you told me how to make. That's fair. Make the drink for them, but then they're like responsible for it. Unless you're a corporate location, and then we basically take everything back. We don't care. They'll just absorb the hit. Had she ordered the Marg of the Month that I made the recipe for and was proud enough to put on the menu? Oh. So there's a little bit of that coming in, though. I would have gladly exchanged her drink for a new one, no questions asked. But she ordered off menu what she wanted, and I made it. It is not my fault that you don't like the drink you came up with. That part is fair, but I see there is a little bias. So it's probably not a corporate location of some sort, because if she's the bartender and making up the recipe for the monthly drink, probably like a local place. But the other bartender that I was working with overheard the end of our conversation and just made her a new drink. And I got a review the next day that said I was a racist for refusing her service. I might be an asshole sometimes, but I'm not a racist, and just put that out there with my name and workplace attached really upset me. And the real kicker was, the same group has come in at least 6 times in the last 3 weeks. The very next time I saw them, the girl that I know is the one who complained, had a new friend with her who loved my Marg of the Month, and the complainer tried a sip of it and hated it. And all of her friends in unison said, "You just hate tequila." And she was like, "Yeah, you right." So they didn't even like. So why the fuck did you ever order a Marg from me? And why the hell do you think I was a racist for trying to charge you for an off-menu item you ordered? Sorry if this is way too long. I'm drunk and never post anything on here. I like how he was trying not to mention race or anything, but then the "yeah, you right" was like. Oh, this is a good one. Well, this is a good subject. I usually don't have this as a problem, but it was a couple weeks ago I did. And I was shocked by it because it's so uncommon for me to encounter it. People react really weird to this, or can react really weird to it. Since when did asking if you need anything become me rushing you to leave? Some people really act like me doing a part of my job and occasionally checking up on them, my table, is me rushing them to leave? Like what? Me asking if you'd like a box for the food you haven't touched in 10 minutes isn't me rushing you. It's a simple question with a simple yes or no. No, we don't need a box, but some privacy would be nice. Bitch, cook at home then. Acting like I bothered you, everybody. That's great. Bitch, cook at home then. Exactly. My job is to interrupt you regularly. If you want privacy, don't go to a public place. And then this too. When I get people who act like I'm rushing them, I will give them slow service. This is also true. They will be leaving at 11:30, just like me. Yeah, I had this happen just a few weeks ago. I was kind of shocked by the response because I go through these, half of it is going through motions. You have a timer running in your head that says their food has been sitting there for a minute. I don't know if they're ready to go or not, or if they're planning to go at some point, but I need to make sure I continue through the steps of service. And one of those steps is, would y'all like a to-go box? Like, if you assume that means I'm pushing you out the door, I'm sorry, that's your problem. But no. It's just me going through the steps of service, making sure you have the things you need. Because if I don't come ask you that question, if I don't come over and say, hey, do you need a to-go box? Do y'all want some dessert tonight? You know, any of that kind of stuff. Then you're going to complain. Then I'm going to come by a little bit later and you're going to be like, well, we've been waiting for like somebody to check on us or something, you know? So just let us go through the steps of service. Similar but different. When a server greets your table, and they ask what you would like to drink, and you say, oh, we're ready to give you the whole order now. That's fine. That's great. Sometimes that's fantastic. Get it all done in one blow. But I'm asking you for the drink first for a reason. There's a proper sequence of events that makes us all go smoothly. If you're in a more technologically advanced, I guess, if you're in a restaurant, which many do now, that uses some form of mobile ordering, you know, with a tablet, a Ziosk, or with, what's the other thing? Toast. The Toast thing. I wish we used Toast because that lets you, like, run cards and stuff right there instead of the stupid table thing. However, at the same time, honestly, I wish there was both. Because the table thing over there is for their convenience, so they can just leave whenever they want. You know, that's fine. Toast is like, would be nice to stand there and do it, like, instead of like, oh, can you hand me the thing over there? Because they make us put them all the way at the back of the tables. Instead of making them hand it to me and then sitting there and making them go through it, I could just stand there and swipe the card, you know, for them. And then hold the thing over, say, hey, just select wherever you're going to select, blah, blah, blah. That would be great. I like the Toast system. But we use iPads. So if you have, if your server has a tablet, a mobile device, whatever, they are doing that because they're likely sending the drinks right away to the queue. So it'll go to the kitchen, the alley, the bar, whatever it is. It's like, especially if it's like alcohol or whatever. One of the things that's really annoying is having to wait for your bar drinks, whether you're a guest or whether you're the server, because the bartender gets busy. So the sooner you can send your margaritas, your beer, whatever to them, the better, you know? So if you give me alcohol, like I'm putting that in, boom, sending right away. Nope, like that's it. Just get it to them. For regular drinks, the same thing. We use a runner. Most restaurants have different systems, but you know, a lot of them have a drink runner, especially if they're using some form of mobile ordering. And getting the drink and sending it back means it's started. Somebody's going to see it on the screen and hopefully start making the drink and possibly be bringing it out to the table while I'm still staying there taking your order. So it's great if you're ready to order like right then, but let me go through the process. I've had tables of ladies, older ladies, and I sorted it out with them. I've got no problem like explaining to people, like not like rudely, but like explaining to them what's going on. But the lady was getting a little weird and pushy about it. I'm like, well, I would like to take your drink order now because I'm about to send it to somebody who's going to start preparing the drinks, and then we could continue with, you know, taking the rest of your order. Like, that's why we kind of go about this fashion, you know. It's a pretty simple idea. Same thing, though. There's a process to all of it, including asking if there's a to-go box. Or if you need a to-go box. This is actually kind of true. It was like that today. This one, she says, praying for a great weekend for everyone. Starting off slow as hell, made 35 after lunch shift. Picked up 3 doubles this weekend because of got a pay rate. Oh my god. But no, today, this week has been actually pretty darn slow. Like, really bad. So, hopefully tomorrow, considering that's my, tomorrow's my Friday. Oh, look, Red Bull. Drinking Red Bull right now. You know what's funny? I feel like I should get but YouTube's categories are about this for you. They're rural. There's not I always stream like unless it's gaming. That's the only one that's right is gaming, and then you can select which game. But in the entertainment category, because nothing else makes sense, and it's they just don't have like a just chatting, for instance, like every other service. They don't have like a just chatting, or something like very way not. It's very broad. Um, go copy song. Oh shoot, no, that's a little too chill. All right, whatever. Just started at this restaurant, and I'm already considering. Oh boy. I got hired at a popular waterfront seafood restaurant in my area, and I'm honestly considering leaving after my first week. So I saw a roach twice in the past week in the kitchen. Then I was being trained by someone one day, and they told me not to pre-fold the pizza boxes, and I asked why, and they said, "No one told you about the roaches?" That's great. They told me they used to have a really bad infestation, but it wasn't as bad now. They told me to double check bags and the to-go boxes that are pre-folded because they've been found hiding in them. Then last night, a couple was unhappy because no one greeted them for 15 minutes. I don't know if that's like the storytellers, the OP's 15 minutes, because then it's probably accurate, or the guests 15 minutes, because legitimately 3 minutes or so for a guest they think is like half an hour. Not even joking. Like standing at the door though, I was waiting for 20 minutes, and it's like you walked in, I walked to the back, I filled some drink refills and came back out. Like that was not 20 minutes. Anyways, they said they initially got a bad impression of the restaurant when they came over the winter, as there were roaches on their table, but wanted to give us a second chance. Then shortly after, I witnessed one of the busters stomping on one by the dishwasher in the kitchen. I understand pests, vermin are a part of operating a restaurant, but this seems insane to me. I just came from a chain where we had an issue with roaches at one point, but it was never this bad, though the restaurant I came from was smaller. No, that's not overreacting. Uh-oh. This is okay. I guess. So this is somebody, I think they just got hired. It's my second day at this restaurant. Haven't served in a few years. I know workplace drama is going to happen in almost every restaurant, but this sign has me concerned. Moral, I think they mean morale, is definitely low around here. Most of it seems to be because of the owner's lack of appreciation for an understaffed restaurant. Okay. The first thing I saw first thing I saw right off the bat is the gossip and rumors thing. If you have this little, we aim to maintain a positive work environment, so let's all be mindful, but this place is full of gossip and rumors. Like, that's all these people do. Yeah, this is an employee conduct reminder. It says kitchen access. We want to remind everyone that former employees are not permitted in the kitchen as they are no longer employed with us. Their presence in the kitchen constitutes a safety violation. I would think. Interactions with former employees. We would appreciate it if all current Oh my god. We would appreciate it if all current employees refrain from spending time outside during work hours talking with former employees. Spending time outside okay. To be clear, it is never a good idea to engage in workplace gossip with former employees. Such discussions often spread and eventually reach management. Customer interactions. Additionally, no employees should discuss or complain about kitchen operations or work-related matters within earshot of customers. Social gatherings should not occur in the lobby or dining room. I feel I must reiterate this point. Such behavior is unacceptable. Please do not compel us to address this issue again for your own benefit. Thank you for your cooperation. Understand. It sounds to me like these are very insecure owners slash managers, and they should probably be stepping away from running this restaurant and getting better, more experienced management in. And it's not that any of these specific things aren't correct. It's the way they are very specific in addressing them, and you can just see the person writing this. I don't know why, like, when I take the whole of this and where it is, obviously this is not a corporate restaurant. This is something smaller time, whatever. This is a place you would see on, like, Kitchen Nightmares or something, where, based on what she's saying here, or I say she, Gemini Kate, morale is definitely low around here, and most of it seems to be because of the owner's lack of appreciation for an understaffed restaurant. This, yeah, I can 100%, like, as I read this, the picture formed, and I know exactly who these people are, and I would not want to work here. Absolutely. This is like a Randy, I think that's what or Rachel, whatever it is. This is probably like a middle-aged couple that have ran a restaurant for 10, 15, something like that, right? Or they retired and decided to open a restaurant. Anyways, don't really know how to manage people because there's so much focus on former employees and gossip and rumors and how that's, you shouldn't be discussing or complaining about kitchen operations or work-related matters within earshot of customers. Like I said, none of these things are incorrect in as a concept, but the way it's being addressed and framed, you're like, I could not imagine sitting down for the interview with these people. I could imagine it. I wouldn't want to. To have an interview with these people, and like 80% of what they're going to cover in the interview is trying to protect their image. That's what they're more concerned with detriment to their image and people saying bad things about them than they are just being a good place that people like to be and therefore don't have bad things to say about them. Anyways, I can 100% see these people. I want to type that up a little. Sussing? De-sussing? God, I can't see. I said none of the things covered in the memo are incorrect as a concept, but the way in which they frame it and consistently refer to former employees or discussing how poorly the place is ran, it sounds like some pretty insecure owner-operators who are more concerned with their image taking a hit than making sure they run a place that people don't have a reason to talk poorly on. Like, I can 100% see these people on Kitchen Nightmares just from the context provided in the memo. I like this one. I'm going to actually... Isn't there a way to favorite? Yeah. That, like, I feel like I've interviewed at places like this. There was a place here in town I interviewed, and the interview took forever. And it wasn't specifically these topics, but it was the same kind of thing where you're supposed to glean... Sorry, I bumped my mic. You're supposed to glean certain things out of interviews with a employer. You know, they're investigating you as much as you should be. And anyways, you're supposed to try and glean as much information from the interview as they are. And so there's certain topics and how much they refer back to certain things. Like, then they just go on and on and on about them. And I swear this dude went on for like an hour about something particular that kind of gave me a vibe about like what the culture was there under this particular operator. And I was like, I'm not coming back here. Like, first of all, holy crap, I wasted like my whole afternoon here. And second, based on the interview, I'm like, this is not somewhere I want to work. I can tell, right? And so reading through this, like I said, these people are just more concerned with continuing to do things a certain way that is not a very good way. And they'd rather just tell people to shut up about it. Anyways, continuing. That was a good one. I'm glad I came across that. You still have some time to delete this before they rip you to shreds, and I laugh. Okay, so this is hilarious. There's a couple things I'll probably cover with this, but let's see. I usually gather from like the first sentence, like what's about to happen. My favorite server saw me and my wife at a bar down the street and didn't even say hi. So right away, I'm right there like, well, they're off the clock. They have no obligation to actually talk to you in any sort of way. Do we? Yeah, in fact, a lot of us, not me in particular, but a lot of us in the business, whether it's servers, bartenders, whatever, actually have the personal phone numbers of certain guests that we've served for a long time and gotten to know and like. There's you become people, you know, to us, or you become people to them. And so, you know, that happens. It's more common than you think. But there's also that just reading that title, I'm like, yeah, but there is no obligation for them to. They're off the clock, you know? It's like the stripper at the place down the street. She's doing that for money. It doesn't mean she sees, she probably doesn't want you to even like recognize her outside of work. But anyways, she sat right next to us, but was diagonal where the bar section turns. Okay. She was with some guy. Oh, why would she say hi to you? She's probably on a date. Ta-da. Or she's with a friend or her brother or something. You know, like she's obviously out with someone else socializing. So boom, there we go. There was loud music for some of our stay, but the band went on a break about halfway in. The server goes out of her way to be nice and talkative. That's not really... She seemed like she actually wanted to get to know us. Maybe, but she's with some guy. Like, what do you want? Maybe she's trying to get laid. Like, why would she be talking to you? Me and my wife both got the sense that she wasn't really looking over at us on purpose. Probably because she's out on her own time and doing something at a bar with a dude. And it's like, we've actually given you hundreds in tips for the service she gave you at work when she's on the clock. Like, come on. And you established yourself as this super nice person that always wants to get to know us. When she's on the... Anyways. Because when you're... I'll cover this in a minute. I'll cover it in a minute. Plus, we didn't know the guy she was with, so to me, that puts the expectation on her to say hi. Why would she... Plus, we didn't know the guy she was with. Why would you... Why would you know him? And why would that mean there's an expectation on her to say hi? Now that we saw her somewhere else and didn't even say hi to each other, it's going to be awkward. For you, I guess, because of your expectations. I actually think she may have either quit working at the restaurant or moved on to bartending at that restaurant. Not sure. This is Reddit, so I already know some of the comments are coming about how I'm tone deaf, or basically the meme that I think the bartender really likes me. Yeah. So why did you even post this? I don't know. I can't really agree with that. Yeah, it's business, but I don't find it naive to believe that some portion of a server's interaction with me is authentic, even if it's largely or mostly business. And even beyond the issue of someone's personal prerogative, there's also just the fact that you're making it awkward. They didn't do anything. You were previously super nice and talkative, and now demonstrated that it's all 100% fresh. I don't even want to go to her restaurant again. There's no way this is real. Like, there's no way this is real. I have to like assemble my thoughts for a moment. Okay. So when you had this thought right here, you should have stopped. Basically the meme that I think the bartender really likes me. That should have been where you go, I shouldn't post. It. Might be one of Okay. I was just checking some stuff out about it. So, like I said, it's not always performative. A good portion of the time it is. Like, that's literally what the job is. Give you a good social experience while you're dining and having food, you know? So that's absolutely a major element of it, and it's, like I said, a good chunk of it is performative, like 99% of the time. However, especially, I don't know, I feel like especially where I work, but like in many cases, you are going to build a rapport with people who are going to become regulars, and that essentially, it's not an entertainment thing, but you know, a good service manager once told me that when you step into the dining room, you're stepping onto a stage. And so that was to cover a lot of other things, like whether you're stressed out, you're pissed off, you know, work's not going well, whatever. Like you step out there and you put on a face and boom, you're performing. But it's also that with the guests. You are there to like arrange the whole experience for them, make sure it's, you know, they get the correct food suggestions. You fix any issues if they come up. You avoid there being issues in the first place. Everything's timely. You address things with management if things go wrong. All these different things, right? And that is like the core code, right? Like the part where the code communicates with the metal. But like that's your BIOS, basically. But on top of that layer, you know, is the part where you are, in a sense, a performer, an entertainer, where you are trying to make a social occasion of dining out, right? That includes banter, asking questions, answering questions, you know, just like on a certain, typically surface level, getting to know these people. The longer they come in, though, the more regular. I have a older couple right now that I serve, that they come in every single week, sometimes twice, but every single week, unless they're out on a cruise, which is pretty often. But anyways, they come in every single week, and since about the first 6 months of me working there, they ask for me every single time. I've basically been serving these people for 2 years plus, almost exclusively. Like, they don't come in on days I'm not there. And they don't come in for sections that aren't me. They come in, they specifically look for me, sit with me, right? They're the best regulars, you know, in that sense that I've ever had. I've had really cool regulars at many, you know, at other places too. But anyways, at a certain point, the whole like surface level, like how you're doing, how was your week, this is, oh, work's been like this, blah, 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 like wears out. And there's a natural, like, you have to get to know these people as human beings, and that just begins to happen naturally. I would probably 100% give these people my phone number for them to like update me on their cruises, you know, send me photos, you know, things like that, or when they travel in general, you know, just they do a lot of it, right? They're retired, you know, whatever. Totally. We just haven't done that, right? It's fine. I have several people I work with, bartenders and servers, that have multiple regulars, like they've been serving for years, and they have their numbers. They exchange numbers, they talk, whatever. They know them outside of work. So yes, that happens too. It's just considerably more rare. It's not a fake thing, though. It all 100% for show. It's not. You do actually come to a point where you do care about the people that are behind, you know, the card you're swiping. So, but at the same time, you and most guests have like an unspoken understanding. You're on the clock, and you have personal lives that were established for long before you ever encountered each other. So even with a lot of regulars, it's like that. You get off the clock and you're done. Now, if I pass somebody in the grocery store or out on the street or even at another bar or restaurant, would I acknowledge them, or would I say, hey, how's things going? Blah blah blah. Oh, I guess I'll see you Wednesday. You know, probably. But like especially in the case that they're mentioning here, she was with some guy. They're at a bar, first of all, and she's doing something social with somebody else. This could be a family member. This could be, you know, her brother or something, or it could be a date. It could be like a guy that she's serious about. It could be a guy she's just trying to get laid, like I said. Why on earth would she acknowledge some random, yes, your regulars at her work, but random? But I love the fact that this person is getting like torn up in the comments. You still have time to delete this. I love that. I think I have the better, more nuanced take. No, there's no nuance to it. You're just... She may have been on a first date if she was with, quote, some guy. She also may have assumed that you guys might not want to be approached and was trying to be respectful. There's many non-malicious reasons why she could have decided to not say hi, and I think you're taking this too personally. And also, the 100% for show comment, yes, it is 100% her job to be nice to you. Doesn't mean she doesn't mean it, but yeah. And they're like, I was thinking that, but contextually, it can't be overstated how much this girl did to make her seem super talkative, wanting to get... You act like she, like, asked y'all for a threesome or something. I don't understand. Jesus, man, you're not owed their attention outside of work just because you tip them. You also probably think strippers find you interesting and that sex workers love you. Like, why is it awkward? Nothing occurred. You made this whole thing up in your head. If others find this persuasive, that's up to them. To me, this is demonstrating a lack of basic social dynamics or an inability to manage yourself in a situation. The response says, you're right. You are unable to imagine yourself in a scenario where you may not want to interact with customers outside of working hours. Good job. Glad you finally understand. That's hilarious. I swear they're just, although they're getting negative karma or whatever, so I don't know if they would post it like that. There's just some really out of touch people apparently. I'm glad I saw that. Today I got a write. I think maybe they meant a write up. Give me just a second. I'll read this one in a second. I'm gonna use the restroom. I really need to get... Hang on a sec. Something like this. I bet there's even... it doesn't need... That would be... Because like when I'm sitting at the desk, I don't know, it's like it just eventually becomes uncomfortable just flat-footed or even stretching my feet out or whatever. I feel like I just need to pop my leg. Anyways. Also, if you haven't tried the cream soda Mountain Dew, I think it is. I like cream soda, I like Mountain Dew, and yeah, because without something there to like prop my feet up on, I end up like folding my legs under myself while I'm sitting, and then eventually my hurt because of that. Tell you what, I'm really liking the Xbox situation. It's funny how big like just refreshing a logo back to something people recognize can be. But yeah, anyways, so we got today I got a write. I think they mean a write-up. It's making me hate the food industry more than I already do. Vast majority of people don't have better choices, or they've been in it so long, it's like, what else am I gonna do? I literally just went over to my AC unit, turned it up 2 degrees to ensure it doesn't turn right back on, and it just turned right back on. Today I had a big party of about 7 people. That's not a big party. I'm like, whatever else happens to this, that's a funny thing for me to hear. A big party is like N+. Not 7. Average. Today I had a big party of about 7 people hosted by a very entitled lady who wanted everything right away. 7 top ended up being more. Okay, so that's different. We had to pull tables together and make it work for them. This was a very demanding table, which I'm okay with. I can do demanding. But the following was what makes me go, what the fuck is wrong with people? Towards the end of their meal, 4 guests who were part of the table wanted to order coffee. I brought them their coffees. As I was putting down the last cup of coffee, there was a little girl sitting next to the lady who was hosting the meal. It was her daughter, actually. The little girl was playing with an iPad. As I tried to drop the coffee, I realized I couldn't reach the lady because everyone was sitting too close together, and the lady was in the very middle of the table. The rest of the party noticed I was struggling and just sat and watched. As I tried to lean a little more, the little girl very abruptly moves her shoulder and knocks the coffee down, and it spilled on the lady's pants. Part of it got on her pants and part of it got on the chair. I apologized immediately and tried to make it up to her by offering her dessert on the house or taking care of a couple things with the bill. But she said she was completely fine. She even smiled. She said she wanted new pants, which I took as a joke because she said it while smiling. Oh boy. Now, this is where I made a huge mistake, which was not notifying the manager of the incident right away. But then again, the lady said she didn't want anything and that she was completely fine. Yeah, but some of these stories like make so little sense to me because like everybody finds out like about things that happen. You go in the back and like everybody knows. How do you not tell your manager? As the table leaves, the lady asks the hostess for my name, which I had told her at the very beginning, but they were too busy cackling very loudly. After she leaves, emails the GM saying that I spilled coffee on her, never apologized for it, and some sort of compensation. I might add the lady was am tipsy. They meant probably. I might add the lady was a bit tipsy by the time she left, and from what I overheard, they were going to keep drinking. Manager offered to get her pants dry cleaned, insane in my opinion, and offered her a $200 gift card. I don't think the dry cleaning thing is all that insane, considering, like, depending on the person, have somebody with pretty expensive pants. So maybe it was appropriate. At the very least, offer it to say you offered it, and a $200 gift card. That's crazy. Right after that, he calls me to the office and hands me a paper saying that I'm being written up and the reason why. I signed, of course, because at the end of the day, I understand my mistake was not communicating the incident and being too naive to understand that some people are just straight up malicious, unreasonable, and have no regards for people in service and could give two fucks if they put their job in jeopardy. Anyways, I just wanted to vent and say that I hate being a server and I do it exclusively and only for the money. I hate dealing with entitlement stupidity. If anything happens, if you're not the manager, immediately manager. That is their problem to deal with, not yours. You can talk about it later. Yeah. Oh, true. Why randomly throw in a football reference that shows you don't know the game? I reread that. Better to punt the ball over getting a safety if you like a football reference. That's, yeah. That's funny. Somebody else, you lost me at a big party of about 7 people. That's a typical table. Yeah, so obviously the spill happened. The restaurant is kind of like on the hook there. I understand offering something like the dry cleaning, $200 gift card. But maybe this lady was just like really over the top, and the manager's like, the write up. If it's for not communicating the incident to the manager, I get it. I can't imagine the write up is for spilling on the guest, so it has to, because it's just an accident. It has to be for not communicating. That's got to be it. Because that's the only thing I can think of writing her up for, which that would be. Sometimes people don't know how to people. All right, let's. Sometimes people don't know how to pee. Shocking experience. We traveled from far just to come through the door, and the manager had an attitude because I brought my toddler without telling me in advance. The booking system did not say anything about letting the restaurant know in advance for a 3-year-old that isn't even eating, no deposit required. I was completely calm and collected, so was eventually seated at the back of the restaurant. The food came out quickly, but it was horrible, was not edible at all, and was air fried. And literally hear the air fryer in my video. We tried everything and didn't come to not like the food, but it was bad. We tried everything and didn't come to not like the food, but it was bad. Oh, Jesus. We politely said that the food was not nice and was told that we couldn't leave and have the food swapped for something else. We ordered 7 different dishes. Why bother? We even told the waiter to try the food, and of course you wouldn't because he knows. No, because you can't fucking do that. What are you talking about? You can't just eat food that a guest gave you. Like, what? Don't tell us that everyone else likes it, so why won't we? Glorified Iceland food, to be honest. We will not be returning. Treat your customers with dignity and respect. I believe if we genuinely messed up with the service, then we should face it head on. But there's no way I am letting people walk all over my team. I was already in a calm state when I responded. Oh, the response. Oh, I didn't even see there was another. Hi, Jade. We are disappointed to hear that our brunch experience was not for you. We obviously do not require deposit for a child, but it is in fact common courtesy to at least inform any restaurant that a child shall be present. God, I wish that was a thing. A child still requires a seat and space, which businesses cannot magically conjure. Our manager communicated that you in a professional manner without any attitude. At no point did we insist that you can't leave. All we said was the deposit was non-refundable. If our food is not to your liking, there is no point in forcing you to finish your meal. I also don't think any staff in their sound mind would try food that has been consumed by customers. It's clear food hygiene violation. Air fryer is a very helpful equipment, especially when we want to small batch food since everything is cooked to order. We don't quite get the gatekeeping. You are absolutely entitled to your opinion, and we respect that. Enjoy the sunshine. Yeah, I didn't get the air fryer thing. Like, I don't know what kind of food this place is supposed to have. Far is a fucking horrible place. I hate anyone who comes from Far. That's great. What about the kingdom of far, far away? Bumfuck you. That is great. Far is a fucking horrible place. I hate anyone who comes from far. We traveled from far. Oh my god. This is so great. I wish I... What does an award cost? I don't know what this costs. Click on something. How do you... Okay, that's interesting. Oh my god, that might be one. I was completely calm and collected. I don't believe you. I was very calm and collected. Right, so is every chef I ever... The Rage Summer. Oh yeah, it's so wild to me when customers with a complaint about a dish that they've already started eating insist that the server engage with it in some way to prove their point. Like, no, I'm not a dog. I will not taste the food you've already messed with. The chicken wings are cold on the inside. Yes, they're cold. Just touch them. No, seriously, feel it. They're ice cold on the inside. I will not be touching the inside of that wing where you just took a bite. Not because I don't believe you, but because I don't want to. But yeah, it's like, what kind of... People can't do that. Like, I can't... It in any hygienically, professionally, like, no. I'm not touching the food on your plate, and I'm not eating it or trying it or tasting it. Nothing. No, no, no. Or they really think of us and other customers and NPCs. Touch my food, then go give that other table their ketchup. Food safety, what? Yeah. And the air fryer thing was weird to me too. Like you said, it's a piece of equipment. Like, microwaves are used in the vast majority of restaurants. Yes, including like high-end restaurants. servers who got out. What did you switch to? That's crazy. Because it's really like that too. How did you get out? To escape, and people don't get that. They're like, just go find another job. It just doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. Baddies get saddies. Alright, so, hey y'all. I've been serving for close to 10 years now, and I don't know. Lately, it's just been feeling super repetitive. Same routine, different day. The money can be good, which is honestly what's kept me in it this long, but I keep catching myself thinking about doing something. For anyone here who used to serve and actually got out of the industry, what did you end up doing, and was it actually worth it? Also curious if anyone left and then came back to serving. Yeah, that virtually everyone. I feel like that happens a lot because of the flexibility and fast money, but like I don't really hear the full story behind it. I guess I'm just trying to figure out if it's worth making a change or if I'm going to regret leaving. That's comfortable. Would appreciate any. Well, there's nothing comfortable about it. No, you would not regret escaping. But would you escape to something where you're going to have the money and all that kind of stuff? Fun. Why wouldn't it be? The one where they were weird about the worker not recognizing or acknowledging them while they were out. I had said there's no way this is real, and so they responded, why wouldn't it be? Go ahead and make your point. And I'm like, because I believe you must be an adult to post on this board. Okay. But yeah, it's very difficult to escape unless you find something just as like, well, for instance, there was a guest in the restaurant the other day that was a lady I worked with at that, and I hadn't seen her in a few years, basically since 2020. She left there. Like a lot of our older or longtime staff did not. So seeing her for the first time, we like caught up for a few minutes. I'm like, well, are you still serving? Like, what are you doing? She's like, no, I got out of it. I'm doing like work from home on the computer. And I'm like, it's that kind of thing you have to be, honestly. Like for me to give up serving, not because I just love it that much, but for me to like truly escape it and not go, man, I have to work 40 hours a week doing this to make half of what I could as a server. And there's only certain people, I'm not trying to like make myself sound special, but there's only certain people who are really built to be servers mentally and all that. And you're in demand. You're can be in demand, not always, but when you're built that way for that kind of work, you get so accustomed to it and the type of money and flexibility that comes along with it, that going to a strict regimen of like a 40-hour, like a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type thing, where you clock in, you sit and you do whatever tasks and you talk to these people and you do this or that, it's missing a lot of the variance and spontaneity of the day that serving does. Like they said, repetitive, same routine, different day, blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit of truth to that, but there's also, when you step away, you realize it's different. Like I briefly worked at Aldi in 2020 during like the lockdowns and stuff. And it was cool in a lot of ways. It had been so many years since I worked outside of restaurants that I was like blown away by the whole concept. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it's like to be in like retail. Like you just show up, you clock in, you do your tasks like that you got to do, the same thing or whatever, and then you're like done. And you just clock out and you walk away. Like that's it. And the types of people you work with are very different, etc. So when you've been in the business long enough, you get so accustomed, and of course I ended up going back. When I was offered the opportunity, I went back. Because you get so accustomed to the type of community, culture, good and bad, the money, the daily changes in the variance in what goes on, and your interactions and all that kind of stuff, that it's incredibly difficult to get away from it unless you're basically getting into something very easy that makes a lot of money or a good money, right? That's the only thing ever a strong enough pull for someone who's a server. Serving is not easy, but I'm very accustomed to certain things and your mind is built a certain way to handle it. The only thing that's going to truly pull you away from it, like permanently, to where you don't end up in a year, 6 months, 3 months, whatever it is, where you don't end up just inevitably going back to it at it, you know, and falling back in, is going to be something that's like basically such a big upgrade in terms of ease of work and the money you get. Like that's the only thing. Yeah, you either have to be going like full on in career, but even then, because somebody mentioned like nursing and something, most of these people are gonna come back. Like inevitably they'll come back. Something about their schedule or some crap that happened at work, well, they'll end up coming back to the restaurant. It's so hard once you're like embedded. It's very, very difficult, which unfortunately I'm at. Unless I can get content going and making money, there's what. Most of us don't even want to like go to be a. Why would I want to? I think this will probably be the last one for the night. Had the worst table I've had as a server so far. Will have work. I just need to vent because maybe it'll help me process this night a little better. LOL. So I opened today. I've had 3 hours of sleep because my 4-year-old had been having some intense behavioral. This isn't important to the story, but important to know how my mental health was today. It's 7:30 p.m. and my boss tells me there's an 8 top outside. I go out there and it turned into an 11 top. And before I can even introduce myself and give them their waters, they're yelling 30 things at me about needing more menus, about the specials. So I go grab more waters and more menus. I ask them if they want to start off with anything to drink besides water. And they all tell me water is fine. I say, okay, I will give you a bit of time to look over the menu, and gave them a few minutes. When I come out again, I ask if they want any appetizers right away. And one lady goes, so are you here to take our drink order? I start taking the orders, and I'm halfway down the table, and the one lady tells me they're all going to be separate bills. Which, if you're going out with a large party, if you have any possible way, if you know the people, anything, find a way, if it's humanly possible, to make it all one check. Or maybe like agree to split evenly. That's almost as good. It's when we got to go item by item and sort things out that it's just, and then go like cash all out. Either try to find some way to have it all be one check, however you're going to agree on it. Everybody Cash App or Venmo or whatever, the one person, or pitch in their cash, whatever. It's just somehow figure that out. Or split it evenly, or have like 2 or 3 people splitting it evenly. Something. Anyways, large parties are horrible for that. So I say that's fine and start putting numbers next to drinks so I know who's who later on when I split the bill. I bring the drinks and the lady tells me again that it's all separate. I told her no worries. I'll make sure to write it down when they start taking down their entree orders, and the lady says, so why don't you start doing it now? I literally showed her my paper and was like, I am. LOL. Everybody who's a server is not good at their job, but you should probably assume that most people that are serving you know how to do their job. I start taking their orders and everything was fine at this point. I could tell them that they had all come to the restaurant pretty drunk, but I didn't realize how bad it was until one of the ladies came into the restaurant to use the bathroom. There was literally no tables in the dining room, and she had to ask for help because she lost her table. That was when my boss came over and kind of fished about the situation. Asked if they were drinking before they came here, and told me they can have 1 drink, but to let them know afterwards that we weren't going to serve them any more liquor. They literally didn't even know what dishes they got tonight. Probably shouldn't have served them any. You're not supposed to, I think, by law, serve people that are already intoxicated. I think by law you cannot serve people who are already intoxicated. So they probably should have just told them. Anyways, I went out to refill the waters about halfway through, and one of the ladies told me she wanted to buy the one woman a drink for her birthday. I was uncomfortable, and the woman was obviously very wasted. So you say no. So I went in and asked my boss what I should do. She told me to space the visits a little bit and not put the drink in. The next time I fill their water, if they ask about it, to just let them know I don't feel comfortable serving them anymore tonight, and they can speak to the manager if they wanted to. So I spaced out the visit, finally went out there for water refills, and the one woman raises her hand at me and immediately gets confrontational, says, so why don't I have another glass of wine yet? I told her that I didn't feel comfortable serving them any more drinks tonight, and they all started getting very huffy with me. I tried to ignore it. I hadn't even taken plates or brought out bills yet, and I had 4 of them shoving their cards at me. The one lady whose birthday it was like, so I can't get a to-go box? I was like, yeah, I'll bring some boxes out for everyone. And the lady was like, so why aren't you serving us anymore? And the other drunk lady goes, because they think you're a fucking drunk and don't feel comfortable serving us anymore. Never said that. I grabbed the bills and have both the boss and bar manager on standby. They were both very protective of me in this situation, and I'm so thankful for them, seriously. I grabbed the bills, and the bar manager tells me to put in a free brownie for them, and they would take it out to de-escalate. I bring the bills out, and they are all now very rowdy, talking about how they just want their bills and they're not going to leave me a tip. I tell my boss to go out there because I now see it escalating. My boss and bar manager come out with me the next time I come out. I missed some of the conversation there as I was like trying to finish them up and get them out. The brownie came out and the lady was like, no, I don't want this. You're literally kicking us out. I try to get all 8 transactions out as fast as possible so that they can just get out of there. And one of the woman's husbands comes inside, starts talking to people in the bar about the situation, standing at the bar like, I need to pay my bill. I was like, I can grab it right here. And he paid, signed his receipt, and made sure I saw his giant line of a non-tip. At the end of it, at least 4 of them started pulling out their phones and recording my boss, my manager, and I, while telling whoever that it was terrible, that they got kicked out. I waited another 20 minutes for them to leave to clear the table because I didn't want to deal with it anymore tonight. One of the guys at the table came inside to use the bathroom, and he thanked me, told me he thought I did a phenomenal job, as did another guy at the table. He left me a very nice tip too. I've worked there for 6 months now, and after 5 minutes with that table, I was literally inside in tears trying to fight it off while all my coworkers rallied around me telling me, you're gonna cry, you don't believe. But anyways, that's rough. Understand complaining about it. Well, you can't. You can't. Right. Kill them with kindness. I can visualize that table perfectly. The kill them with kindness thing. Like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of crap here that would need to be sorted out and you'd be having a manager involved with. But in general, the number one thing I tell, especially new servers, I don't get to train for some reason. I used to train at previous restaurants, but this one, they hand people over to these people that I look at and I go like, they either aren't that great at their job or they're not good teachers. And when you're training somebody, you need people that are good teachers, not just someone that they follow around with. But anyways, the number one thing I tell newer people that start, I'm like, look, you can't react to people. There are going to be people who are annoying, who are obnoxious, absolute Karens and Keiths and Karens, excuse me. Just in general, horrible to you. And the number one thing you can do besides handling things within policy is not let them get a reaction out of you, because when you react, that's what they want. And if you avoid that, you're gonna make them feel and look stupid, and either you just get that aspect or they're gonna change their tone. I cannot tell you, it's like an uncountable amount of tables I've had over the years where just by not reacting to them being overly demanding, a general piece of shit, whatever it is, that by the time the table's done, they're like being nice to me. Because like they didn't get the rise that they were looking for, and I continued to do my job how it's supposed to be done, and they're like, what am I supposed to do now? They start being nice because they feel stupid. Anyways, that's probably about where I'm gonna wrap it up. Not really anybody around. Anyways, gonna go get some stuff done. I'm gonna make some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I know that probably sounds silly, but I'm gonna make a stack of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and do some daily stuff on video games. Probably some dailies, but then also just chill, watch some YouTube. So catch you next time.